Alright guys, fun one for you today. We're going to do a walk around on my new box truck. It's a 1998 Mitsubishi FE cab over refrigerated box truck. It's a 14 by 8 by 8 box. It is powered by a 3.9 liter inline 4-cylinder turbo diesel. I don't really know that much more about how it's configured other than what I can see here, but you know, it's a 98. So I've been doing a little bit of research about these trucks before I bought it, just to kind of know a little bit. So Mitsubishi Fuso is, I'm going to call it Fuso. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but that I believe is what Mitsubishi calls their commercial trucks. So if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but that's what I know about it. So as you can tell, this is a cab over. The cab sits over the engine. As you can see, it has a Thermo King refrigeration unit on top. The truck has 121,000 miles on it. It has a 2,500 pound Tommy gate on it. It has 2 batteries, 2 AC compressors, 2 tires in the back. First dually I've ever owned, if you can believe that. The lift gate is a tuck under style, so you can back it right up to a gate and then flip the deal down whenever you get it to where you need to go. There was an unfortunate accident when it was delivered to me. The guy bringing it to me accidentally caught the back on something and bent the bumper out a little bit. So I'm gonna have to do some fixing on that. I think I've got a plan. I'm probably just gonna strap that to the wheel and just kind of pull it back, buzz the old welds off there and buzz it back together. I think that'll suffice. Other than that, I mean, it's a beat up old truck. It was owned by a local hospital here in Oklahoma from 2001 until 2014. This is a 98, so I mean, they had it most of the time. It's got the roll-up liftgate door in the back. The box floor rather, is all diamond plate. It's got E-track all along the walls. It's got a switch here for the Tommy gate and another switch on the inside for it. One thing that really caught my eye about it when I was looking at it was that it's got the side door. Side door is pretty cool. So if you need to just get in it, you can flip open the door. So my neighbor's cat's always hanging out. He's cool. His name's Stuart. You're not going to be able to see anything in here because it's dark, but oh yeah, you can. So it's got E-track on the wall. You can see the reefer units up there. It's got E-track on this wall. You can see the diamond plate bed floor. It's pretty freaking cool. I found this. I kind of ask and you shall receive. I was asking around to see if anybody had a cheap box truck for sale, and my friend had this one. And he's a guy that I've done a lot of business with and bought and traded a lot of stuff with, so I knew I could trust him. Because the thing that I was finding was, sorry, one second, let me get this door closed and I will get back to you. Sorry. So, something I was finding in the used box truck market around my area was there was a bunch of them, but they were either like 500,000 miles and $5,000, or they're like 3,000 miles and looked like they were in a field forever. So this one seemed like a pretty good option, because at least I knew the guy that owned it last, he didn't use it, for the record. He was more or less traded to it. It was traded to him for something, and he buys and sells stuff for a living, so he just didn't do anything with it. It sat at his house for like a year, and he said, man, I need to get this thing out of here. So the interior is pretty basic. It's got these big doors, crank windows. The seats present still, but not really that interesting. It has like a double seat here for your occupants. This one is equipped with an automatic overdrive transmission, which, I mean, I can't say I cared one way or another if it was a stick or not, but I kind of like that it's an auto. here on the inside. Got a pretty basic instrument cluster here. See, it's got 122,000 miles on it. It's got an engine warm-up switch, so when you start it when it's cold, it'll run it a little faster and warm the engine up faster to make the heater more efficient. That's pretty cool. It's got a power and eco switch, kind of like your old Mitsubishi Eclipse did. And it's got a dome light switch for the back. Ironically, any of you guys DSM fans out here, or old Eclipse, Talon kind of guys, you might recognize this shifter. The old pistol grip Mitsubishi shifter. It looks just like the one that would have been in your Eclipse, which is really funny to me, but probably only funny to me and no one else. I cleaned the windows, but as you can tell, I didn't do a very good job. They were disgusting. Essentially, my my first mission here was just to get the crap out of this thing, because it had a bunch of stuff in it, and I just wanted to sort of clean it out so I can feel good about driving it. It's got the old Clarion OG stereo, has HVAC controls for the cab, and then this wonderful condition box is the M13 Thermo King controller for the reefer box. There's really not a whole lot more going on in here. There is this little flip down here for your files, which is actually pretty sick, because if you're going to use this thing to work out of, which I was planning on, you know, you can put your work orders here, you can put receipt stuff there. I mean, I could even have a little mobile printer here. I don't know, it's pretty neat. I was going through the owner's manual and I was looking at like cab operation, and I saw that and I was like, oh, I literally looked at this thing like 100 times and didn't even notice that. So that's pretty cool. Headliners present. I mean, this thing's a cab over, you know, so like you don't really want to have a bunch of stuff in the cab, because if you do, it'll fall forwards if you open the cab. Trying to think of anything else to note. Oh, kind of fun. If you open that up, that is where the washer fluid is. The cab fuses are right here. It's got a little miniature cup holder there. Pocket. I think I'm going to put, if this fits a doubled in, I'm like half and half about this, guys. And I know this sounds stupid because like I don't really want to put a stereo in here per se, but if you could put a doubled in here that did, you know, navigation or like at least CarPlay, that would actually be really handy to be able to have maps and, you know, Waze and whatever in the truck. I mean, I was thinking about maybe just, you know, getting a phone mount or something and putting it on the windshield for now, because the windshield is right in front of you. But that would actually, I think, be a really nice addition if I could add a doubled-in CarPlay radio. So that's something that's definitely on my list. Ooh, looks like I forgot the last piece of crud. I don't know what this is. But whatever it is, it was for a Bailey. Okay. No mirror. None of the women are going to like that. It's a #1 key feature on a car, guys. For your lady, you got to have a mirror. If you don't have a mirror, your lady's not going to want to ride in your car. I don't care how cool you think it is. So that pretty much wraps up the inside tour. I wasn't going to flip the cab, but you know what? We're doing a walk around, so I'm flipping the cab. I'm going to show you guys what it's like. I'm going to show you this cab over life here, guys. So, yeah, it's got a bunch of warning labels and stuff all over it. You know, it's got a little build date. I actually don't know if the VIN is even on this thing anywhere. I haven't been able to find it. I've already registered it and stuff. I got the title with it, so I just like commercially insured it and registered it right off the bat. But oh, also too, kind of cool, it's got like stairs that you can climb up to get to your reefer unit. I don't see myself doing that, but you can, so that's kind of something. Your brake fluid reservoir is right here. That will tidy up our interior going overing, which looks like it's right in the middle, so that's pretty cool. The door doesn't close that good. The upper hinge is really bad. But, you know, this isn't a Honda Civic, guys, so finding parts for this thing isn't really that easy. Yeah, there's definitely not just like an obvious VIN on this. That's kind of crazy. I didn't really worry about it because I got the title with it, but I'm like, dang, don't you think this thing would have a VIN like somewhere? I mean, there's a serial number for the box right there. Got my little ghetto battery situation going on there. I stole a battery out of one of my cars. That is the condenser, evaporator, heat exchanger, something for the box, I believe. There's another one up in the cab that I'll show you here once I flip it. So yeah, let's get to it. So to flip the cab, you have this lever here. You pull that out. That pulls the unlock, right? Then, let me set the phone down. I'm going to point you guys up at what I'm doing here, and you can see it. Okay, now you can see me. So you pull this lever here, pull this lever here, and then you've got this lever here. And you just all right. Hopefully you saw most of that. And most importantly, when you flip it up, there is a safety latch. Make sure and do that because my assumption would be that you don't want this situation falling on you. This is the Mitsubishi. Man, I was trying to memorize all the numbers before I got in here, but it's a 3.94 cylinder, guys. Do you guys really care what the model number is? I'll put it in the description if you really care. This is the refrigeration unit HVAC pump, secondary AC pump. The truck's AC pump is over there. I'll go to the other side in a second and show you. We've got our transmission dipstick there, engine oil dipstick there, diesel fuel filter there. In fact, there was something I was going to look at while I was down here. I don't think the glow plugs work on this thing. Not that I've needed them. It literally fires like right up instantly, which is super cool. But there is like supposedly there's some sort of fuse block down here that's got the like a big 50 amp fuse or something for the glow plugs. I don't know. I haven't found it yet. I've only flipped the cab over a couple times, so luckily I haven't had to. I haven't had to need to do it. Air filter kind of goes up with it. The air filter is actually down here and this canister, which is kind of neat. We've got our coolant reservoir there, nice and full. Got another one of those heat exchangers here. You know, this very well could be for the transmission too. I don't know. Maybe that one's for the air conditioner and this one's for the transmission. I couldn't tell you. I've been reading the owner's manual, trying to get familiarized with it, but I am by no means an expert on this thing yet. Got a cute little weed whacker turbo here that, in my opinion, doesn't really work very good. I tested it and it appears to spin with little shaft play, but the wastegate actuator seems like it's pretty sticky to me, so I don't know if it's really doing a whole lot, but it is there. It's still part of the party, so that's cool. You guys probably can't tell from the video, but this AC compressor's pulley is definitely crooked. You can see no gap there, big gap here. So I don't know if the clutch got stuck on or the bearing went out in the pulley or what, but we got some stuff going on with that. That's for the cab, so I want to fix that. I mean, I'd like to have the reefer working too, just for the sake of having everything in the truck working, but realistically what I actually want is for this one to work. Because if I'm in Oklahoma and if I'm driving this thing in the summer, I want to have AC. And I got the radiator there. You know, you guys can see, you pop the cab up and you're here, you're right in here. You can put your knee on the tire and your hand on this bar and you're in here. You can get to everything, which is freaking awesome. I love the serviceability of this thing. I've never owned a commercial truck before, nor have I ever had the luxury of working on one, but I'm pretty excited about this thing. It does have a little bit of Japanese car rot going on, but man, just for the sake of being able to work on it super easy, I'm freaking pumped. I really like it. I think it's super cool. It's got a big, like, I think it's a 200 amp alternator, which is rocking. Got a little nameplate here. You guys can take a look at that. Look at some specs. I wiped off all the nameplates before I did this video so you guys can see. According to the owner's manual, this takes 15W40 heavy duty diesel oil, just like everything else in the world does. This cantilever system for the cab is like the coolest thing ever, I feel. Definitely looks like this thing's had some, it's rusted a little bit. It's been in Oklahoma like its whole life, but still to me looks like it's had some rust issues. But I mean, it's probably literally made out of paper mache like Mitsubishi's are, so can't say that's real surprising. Wheels and tires. This is something I thought was interesting to me because, you know, I've never owned a dually before, nor do I know much about big truck tires, but these are just 16s. Now, these are E-rated 16s, which means they're like pretty heavy load rated, but these are tires that you can just get. I don't have to go to like a semi-truck place to get tires, so that's kind of interesting. It's got these big boy lug nuts that hopefully any tool I own will take off. I do need to do like some brake maintenance and wheel bearing maintenance to this thing, just because from what I understand, it was owned by a hospital, like I mentioned earlier, for a long time, and I'm sure they did like good maintenance on it, but ever since it got sold from there, my assumption would be that it's had basically no maintenance done to it. So I definitely want to catch up on scheduled stuff, you know, do with oil, transmission, rear end, wheel bearings, brakes, you know, just go through all the safety stuff because I want to be able to just hop in this thing and roll. Also, I don't think the overdrive switch works, which as long as it's stuck in overdrive, not overdrive, I guess who really cares, but you know, just other things that I need to like go through the list and see. Also, you know, finding information about this thing isn't the easiest because it's not like a Honda Civic. You're not just gonna like Google parts for it. It's pretty tough. You have to like find part numbers and do research to find things for it. So that's going to be a learning curve. But you know, I'm certain this isn't the most obscure thing I've ever owned, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I know for certain I need some shocks. These shocks suck. I know I definitely need to grease all these grease certs on everything. I mean, look at that steering box. Oh my god. That is the biggest steering box. It's freaking sweet. Which power steering, you know, well, maybe it's power steering. It steers easy, like super duper easy. Yeah, a little crunchy. I think I might have to do a little bit of patching on that, which I'm not really much of a welder, but looks like I'm gonna have to learn some stuff. Gonna have to fix that rear bumper for sure. It does have a primer plunger that looks to me just like the one that's on a Mercedes 300D, which is kind of cool. The reefer unit, which it's funny, this thing has like caps on it, like you can't get to them, but it's 134. So as far as I can tell, I can, yeah, you can actually see right there. I can service this AC system, which I don't want to turn this because I don't want to go dirty, but this compressor turns. It's free, it's hooked up. One thing I noticed when I first got it, there were some wires hanging off of this, which I realized go to the battery, these big heavy duty cables. And through some deduction, I determined that I believe those go to here. And I think that's like the main power to the reefer unit. Because what I've got is, this thing should run on the truck or run on power. And for fun, I tried plugging this in yesterday. And the deal inside the truck with the evaporator and the fan comes on, but this guy doesn't. So I think that it needs at least signal power from batteries, even though it doesn't use it. And then it's got its own like electric motor powered compressor in there, or if it's running on the truck, it runs on this. So I don't know, that's what I figured out. Interestingly enough, it came with the owner's manual for the reefer, for the Tommy gate, for everything, the truck. So I was able to get a lot of good specs and stuff on the truck, chassis, cabin chassis, the grease points, maintenance intervals, all that kind of stuff that I don't think anyone's looked at in a long time. So I'm gonna put the camera down for a second. and then I am gonna put the cab down. So hang tight. If you see a car coming and then you see the phone roll, then you know what happened. So take the lever, pull it down. I mean, and you think it's really heavy, but it's actually not bad. It just goes down, and once you get it down, you just lock it in. That's it. So, cab's pretty easy. It's locked. And I haven't tested it yet, but this thing's got like that safety, this thing's got a switch on it. So I think the truck like doesn't go in gear if the cab's not locked or something. I mean, I assume at some point it did. I don't know if it still does, but there at some point was some safety measures in place so you couldn't just flip the cab over on this. So hopefully that still works. I would say the last fun feature would be the back. And just for the sake of making a thorough video. Now, the one thing I was told about this Anthony liftgate is that it doesn't stay up on its own. It'll fall down over time. If it's anything like a boat's trim, it's, okay, picked it up. It's probably got a bad check valve in it or something, so. I also noticed in one of the compartments, that toolbox there on the side, that there is a whole crap ton of hydraulic fluid in it. So my assumption would be that this liftgate needs some servicing, but I don't know. I'll tell you what I know about it. If you hit the switch, she goes down. So it just goes down like that, flips like that, and has a spring-loaded platform here. And you just grab it, watching your fingers for pinching. Flip that down, pick this up, flip that down. Here you are. 2,500 pound flip-flop gate boy. That I'm excited about. So I'm always picking up stuff I shouldn't. The thing I haven't looked at yet. This thing does not have any provisions for, okay. Yeah, so there's also like a cover that goes over this like control box thing that was just dangling like almost on the ground. And man, yeah, this hydraulic cylinder is really, really dirty. And it kind of looks to me like they just hacked the back of the frame off to make this thing fit, which is pretty sketch, but I mean, I guess that's probably how they do it. I don't know. The box is mounted on 1x4s and U-bolts. Also, to me, looks kind of sketch, but I mean, once again, I assume that's just how they do it. I don't know. And we've got some rust here too, but it's all pretty thick steel, so I'd assume it's probably still pretty good. Probably shouldn't put the whole 2,500 pounds on it still, but I bet you could. And I bet it's rated for less than what it can actually do. And you just hit the switch. Which, of course, now that the bumper's all bent, that sucks. But this is all like this. So I have to keep that in mind. I noticed this the other day. It was kind of fun. A little don't roll off accoutrement. But that's pretty funny. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to talk to somebody about this. Getting this bumper pulled back in. So I ran out of gap there and it just hit it. There's a big gap on that side. This thing definitely needs to get pulled that way. But, you know, I mean, hell, dude, this truck was not expensive. I traded a motorcycle and a couple bucks for it. Motorcycle that I'd had for years and hadn't done anything with, so I think solid trade. And I think the liftgate is just super cool. Super cool. Never expected to have a truck with a liftgate. want to put it away, you just fold it, flip it, which I'm sure would be a lot easier to do if it's a little bit of rust coming off, no big deal. And then you just flip it back up. It goes up way too high, where it looks like it's pushing the bed up. And then I've got my custom safety latch, fully DOT approved, to my safety spring here. That is safety. Definitely want to fix that before that thing falls off. That's a cool little sign there. And then what you do is just kind of take the weight. There you go. No Tommy gate falling down. I would open the roll-up door, but you guys have seen a box truck before, and you just flip the dealie and roll it up. I don't really know what to say about that. You've already seen the inside of it. So that's about it. Just wanted to do a walk-around video on the box truck. So get a load of it. You'll probably see me working out of it soon enough. Thanks for watching.